1997 year in review continues with WCW Slamboree. Hello, Dana Rock08, and we start off Slamboree with Lord Steven Regal defeating Ultimo Dragon for the World Television Championship in a good, great match. Very great match. You have the technical English style, bowling shoes ugly style of wrestling in Lord Steven Regal, and then you have Ultimo Dragon, the Japanese sensation. You know, very two good different styles, and this match worked to perfection. Great match. Sonny Oh no turns on Ultimo Dragon, and Lord Steven Regal captures the television championship, or retains the television championship in a great match. A 7.5 out of 10. Next up, Medusa defeats Luna Fashawn in a good, actually a decent match. Medusa was the WCW women's division, as it was just her and a bunch of Japanese women and Luna, and much like WWF's women's division back in 1994. It was just all under Blaze. Well, here, same difference. It's all Medusa, who has very sexy legs back in the day. Very decent match. A 5 out of 10. Next up, Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats. I'm going to suck at this name. Watch how I pronounce this. You're going to make fun of me so bad, as if you didn't make fun of me enough. Yajiroka. Anyways, you have Rey Mysterio and Yajiroka, and this was not a good match. Rey Mysterio Jr. for like the third or fourth pay-per-view in a row, having pretty disappointing matches. Pretty disappointing matches again. His matches with Prince Iaukea were pretty bad, and this match was pretty mediocre at best. A 5.5. Their two styles did not match this time, unlike Ultimo and Steven Regal, where English versus Japan, those two styles mix very well. Here, not the case. Not the case whatsoever. 5.5. Next up, Glacier defeats Mortis in a very shitty match via disqualification, as Wrath comes down and interferes, and you have Ernest the Cat Miller coming in. This was just... Actually, never mind on Ernest the Cat Miller. He comes in later. But this was a pretty shitty match. A 0 out of 10. Glacier gets the victory, but Wrath and Mortis gets the last laugh. Bad match. Next up, Dean Malenko defeats Double J Jeff Jarrett in a great match. A 7 out of 10. Very great match. You don't hear a lot of good stuff from Jeff Jarrett in this time period. Jeff Jarrett, he flip-flopped back and forth. He was in WWF in 95, then he was in WCW in 97, then he went back to the WWF in 1998, and then at the end of 1999 he was back in WCW. So, very weird how he would WWF to WCW to WWF back to WCW, and so weird, but this is a good match nevertheless. A 7 out of 10. Next up, Mang defeats Chris Benoit in another good match. Back-to-back, two good matches back-to-back. A 7 out of 10. Both matches in Malenko and Jeff Jarrett and Mang and Benoit do not get enough praises, and there are two big reasons why. Well, one is Jeff Jarrett, and WWE hates Jeff Jarrett's guts because of TNA and what happened back in 1999 with holding the company up for money, because he wasn't gonna give up the title. He wasn't gonna put over China. He had to get paid a lot more money to do so. And then, of course, there's The other one was Benoit. But anyways, two very good matches back to back. Another 7 out of 10. Next up, what's not a good match is it's just a run of the mill, typical tag team match. Nothing special to it. You have Rick and Scotty Steiner's defeating Conan and Hugh Morris in just a basic. You're going to see this on Nitro, basic Raw, basic SmackDown tag team, holla, 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 playa tag team match. Just a basic tag team match. Nothing else to it. It's your basic, generic tag team match. Generic match. 4 out of 10. Then we have, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We have, get ready for this, Steve Mongo McMichaels defeating Reggie White. Reggie White and Steve Mongo McMichaels, two huge football stars. Two huge football NFL stars. One-turn wrestler. And Reggie White being in his first match. And Mongo has the duties to carry Reggie White to a respective presentable match. Mongo has the responsibility, the duties, if you will, the honors to make Reggie White look good. What in the bluest of blue fuck balls was Eric Bischoff thinking of having fucking Mongo, and Reggie White having a match? Now you're thinking, well, maybe this match is short. Maybe it's short like Glacier and Morris, which only lasted like 90 seconds. No, this match lasts, are you ready for this? 15 fucking minutes. This match lasted something like 15 fucking minutes. It was ridiculous. A ridiculous amount of time went into this terrible fucking match. Awful, 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 awful match. A 0 out of 10. It had 15 fucking minutes. 15 fucking minutes. Are you serious, bro? 15 fucking minutes with Mongo defeats Reggie White and beating him with the briefcase. He's cashing in, baby. This was awful. 0. The main event, we have Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, and another football player in Kevin Green defeating the n.w.o's Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Syxx. And you're thinking to yourself, no way is Ric Flair and Roddy Piper and Kevin Green beating these three members of the n.w.o, but it's correct. They did win. They did beat the n.w.o. Now, mind you, this is indeed in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ric Flair's hometown. This is the return of Ric Flair after being gone for a while. So, you would think it's a foregone conclusion. Ric Flair's going to win anyways. But actually, you think about it, Ric Flair almost always gets his ass whipped in Charlotte. Especially once when the n.w.o came in. Once when the n.w.o came in. And once when Eric Bischoff became fully in charge. Yeah, sure, Ric Flair beat Vader at Starrcade 93 in the same place, in the same town of Charlotte, North Carolina. But afterwards, Ric Flair always got his ass whipped in Horseman country. Whether it be in Charlotte or Greensboro or in South Carolina or no matter what, in Horseman country. He always, or in Virginia, in the Norfolk Scope, he always got his ass kicked. But here, and Roddy Piper, same difference. He got his ass kicked a lot by the n.w.o. But they win. And matter of fact, not only did they win, but all three of these guys, they make the n.w.o guys tap out. In unison. They all tap out. They all give up. In unison. It's crazy. Ric Flair, Piper, and Kevin Green beats the n.w.o. 3 or my bad, 2 pay-per-views in a row where the main event, the n.w.o lost the main event. Crazy. A great main event. For the third time in a row, the main event is the best match, is the main event. Blah, 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 blah. The main event is the best match on the card. And that's weird to think about because usually the opener or the cruiserweight or the tag team match or the United States title match, those matches, those are typically the match of the night. Your Benoit's, your Mysterios, your Dean Malenko's, your Eddie Guerrero's, your Jericho matches. Those are your, or even your Booker T matches. Those are your great matches. Those are your best matches. But here, once again, it's the main event. It's crazy. Now, Slamboree is a pretty mediocre mixed bag of a show. On one hand, you have Regal and Ultimo. You have Malenko and JJ, Mang and Benoit, and you have an awesome main event. On the other hand, you have the Steiners and Conan and Morris. Not sure why the Steiners is facing Morris and Conan. Could you not have them face, I don't know, Harlem Heat? Or even Lex Luger and the Giant, maybe? Who is not on this show? You have Mongo and Reggie White. You also have almost no big stars. There is no Sting at all on this show. They're not showing him in the Raptors. There is no Sting. There is no Hogan. No Diamond Dallas Page. No Randy Savage. There is no Lex Luger, and there's no Giants. The two big stars here are, Ric Flair and Kevin Nash. So that's who you have here. You don't have anyone else. So that's the disappointing part of this show. Overall, Slamboree, I highly recommend the main event. I highly recommend the opener. And I recommend Dean Malenko, Jeff Jarrett, Mang, and Benoit. I recommend those 2 matches as well. You have Glacier and Mortis. And you have Mongo and Reggie White, which I have to remind you lasted 15 fucking minutes. Overall, Slamboree is a mixed bag of a show. A 5 out of 10, mediocre. There you go. Moving on. Next up, coming up next, right here in 1997's Year in Review with me, Dana Rock 08, will be WWF's In Your House, A Cold Day in Hell. And for WCW, it's the Great American Bash. See ya. Goodbye.